Good morning, fellow Rotarians. It's good to be here with you this morning on my monthly podcast. I ran across some interesting information as I was doing some reading in the last few weeks. I'm gonna read you some of these interesting facts that I found. And I begin my newsletter article this month by saying, did you know that in the state of Arkansas, it is illegal to mispronounce the word Arkansas? Found that interesting. Also, in Connecticut, a pickle, there's a little town in Connecticut that if a pickle fit for human consumption should bounce if dropped from a height of 1 foot. So in other words, in Connecticut, if your pickle doesn't bounce 1 foot when you drop it, then you shouldn't be eating it. In Gainesville, Georgia, it's against the law to eat fried chicken without a knife and a fork. Now, hey, I grew up in the South. I have to tend to agree with that. If you live in Western Australia, you may not own more than 110 pounds of potatoes. Now, I like potatoes, but oh yeah, this is interesting. In North Carolina, here is bringing home here. In North Carolina, it is illegal to play bingo and drink alcohol at the same time. I think some of our Rotary fundraisers may be in jeopardy there. But I thought all these laws, first of all, as I said, they were humorous. You kind of laugh when you read them. I think there's a bigger point here. Are we doing things, or are there quote unquote laws or rules? And a lot of times these rules are unspoken that we're doing that. Some of these laws might be outdated. As I was traveling around the district last fall, I talked about how you build value in your club, and we talked about different ways to do that. Of course, making your club a place where people want to come and help in community service and do ethical business networking and fellowship and friendship and things like that. But I think that we have to look at our clubs in a way that, is there anything that we're doing that is hindering our mission of Rotary? I mean, maybe things that we've always done, things that started when our club started, whether it's back in the 30s or 40s or 50s or 60s, whenever it was, that we have to really evaluate what we're doing. Is it helping people come to Rotary, or is it hindering people coming to Rotary? What about the time you meet? What about the day you meet? What about the place that you meet? What about the consistency of your meetings? What is there something in your meetings? I mean, I guess it's kind of an unspoken rule that every time that we're meet, we're supposed to have a program. Well, I've challenged some clubs this year not to do that. I find it interesting about why we do the things we do. When I was traveling last fall, I had an opportunity to visit Furniture Land Rotary. Now, Furniture Land Rotary in High Point is a very active club, a very vibrant club. But if you've been to any district meetings in the last couple of years, it hadn't always been true. I mean, there was a time just a few years ago that Furniture Land really was struggling. And so they got a new president, President Joe came in, and he went and talked to the members, asked them tough questions. And if you've been in any district meetings, you know that Furniture Land turned it around. But I found it interesting when I was asking them, when I was there visiting them, and they meet on Monday at noon. And I don't know about you, but Monday, I'm trying to recover from the weekend. And, I'm in my office and trying to get, things going from the weekend, trying to plan my week. And in my opinion, Monday at noon might not be the best time to meet. But I said, how did you come to meet at noon? And they said, well, years ago when our club started, of course, the furniture industry in High Point was booming. And so we would, so the furniture salesmen, the people who went on the road all week to sell furniture for these different furniture manufacturers, the furniture salesmen would come in to their office on Monday morning. They would get their travel assignments for the week. They would make all their plans. They would come to Rotary at noon. And then Monday afternoon, they'd hit the road and they'd be gone till, Thursday or Friday. And so, in that particular time, and I think, Furniture Land is probably about 40 some years old, that worked for them. But the good thing about it is it's still working for them. Again, they're a vibrant club. They're a very active club. They've made a huge turnaround, and it still works for them. But I wonder if some things that used to work years ago didn't. I think it'd be interesting to find some of the older members of your club and ask them, well, why do we meet on this day? Why do we meet at this time? Why do we meet here? You know, and just to kind of hear their stories, because I really believe that there are some unwritten laws or rules in the club that we just kind of follow year to year. But we also see that the clubs that are really making a huge impact have really been honest with where they are. And they have really took an evaluation of, is this really working? Is the time really working? Is the place really working? Is our way that we do Rotary in our clubs really working? And there's been several of our clubs in our district that said no, and we need to do it differently. And we found that the clubs that are changing the rules, are kind of mixing it up a little bit, doing things differently, are really having a lot of success. I challenge you to go and look at your club. Is there anything we could change up? Anything we could do differently? Are there any rules? And a lot of these rules aren't written down; they're unspoken rules that have been passed down from year to year, from or generation to generation. But what could we do differently? Because we found that all of the clubs that are really showing a lot of success have done something differently. What is the old saying? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. Well, the clubs that are showing great results have changed the rules in some way. They've rewritten the laws of their club, and now they find different ways to do Rotary. I'm taping this on today's March 22nd, and yesterday March Madness started. And I don't know if maybe you were like me and you watched several of the basketball games yesterday. But one of the most interesting games that I watched last night was the University of Oakland against the University of Kentucky. I think it's Oakland University, located, I thought, in California, but no, I found out it's in Michigan. I mean, who would have thought that? But they met in the first round of the NCAA tournament. Well, as I was watching the game, I mean, the whole game, Oakland just, they were a number 3 seed. I think Oakland was a number 14 seed. I mean, Kentucky was supposed to win. But the miracle of yesterday was that Oakland University, out of a little town in Michigan, beat the mighty Kentucky Wildcats. In the press conference that the Oakland University coach said after the game, he said, and this coach, Greg Kemper, he's been coaching there for 40 years. I mean, imagine a coach that's been in one place for 40 years. Kemper said that, he said this year, even after 40 years of doing, things the same way, he decided to do things different. He said, I've always been a coach that emphasized offense. He said, scoring, we all know you win games because one team has more points than the other. He said, but this year I changed. And he said, I started to focus more on defense. I mean, it doesn't matter how many points your team scores. If their team scores more, they're going to win. And he said, so, and again, I found it interesting. After 40 years, he could change his coaching philosophy and his strategy. But hey, yesterday it paid off. He beat number 3 team in their division, Kentucky, who has a great basketball reputation, and they won. And it's just a great example of, sometimes we do have to change our focus. We have to change the rules. We have to change the way we do things. But just like Oakland University found out yesterday, and many Rotary clubs find out, if you do that, I think you'll have great success. Thank you guys for joining me today. I look forward to being here next month. And if you haven't signed up for district conference yet, please do that. Look forward to seeing you.